Good afternoon. Just look at the Crucible Theatre. This is what it's all about. After 12 days here in Sheffield, we are down to the semi-final stages of this Betfred.com World Championship. And with it, the dramatic one-table situation. This is what they all dream of playing in. Now, for two of our semi-finalists, Mark Williams and John Higgins, it's nothing new. They have, between them, appeared in 12 semi-finals at this stage of the championship. But for the other two, Junhui and Judd Trump, it's a whole different ball game. What a lineup we have.
I knew at the start of the week that I had the potential to go out and win it if I played well. But I'm just enjoying it. I love it out there at the moment.
I just feel myself getting stronger. I like that.
It's a difficult tournament to win. It's over 17 days. I can just try my best like I always do, and hopefully keep playing well with it.
Great to be here, great to be in the semi-finals, great to be in the one-table set-up again. But it's a long way to go, we're only halfway there, I think. We'll see what happens.
Well, the great Steve Davis has walked out into the semi-final stages here at the Crucible no fewer than 11 times. Now, Steve, what changes significantly for the players here?
Well, the first thing is it's a bit of a shock. The distance you have to walk from your chair to the table, it's quite a long way, probably as long as any other tournament. The other thing is, obviously, it's a one-table setup. There's nothing going on the other table. There are players who actually quite like a bit of hustle and bustle on the other table. It takes the attention away from them. Some players are considered better cubicle players in the qualifiers. Some players would like the two-table setup better than the one table when all eyes are on them.
Now, the two men that we're going to see in their first session, Judd Trump and, of course, Junhui this afternoon, both experienced in different situations, clearly, but from their perspective, they've been teen idols. They've been told by everyone that these guys are going to win a future world championship. Suddenly, it all comes home to roost at this stage for them.
Yeah, but I think they're getting the affirmation that this is true because they're in the semi-finals. You can't get better than winning to boost your confidence. So perhaps losing further down the line is the worst thing. Now all of a sudden they're on fire. They'll come up against each other. The question I asked perhaps at the start of the season or the start of this tournament, which one of those players was going to win the World Championship first? Would it be Judd Trump or would it be Junhui? Well, one of them is going to have a chance to get in the final.
Indeed. Now, this is a cracker, Steve. I was looking this up. Ding and Trump were respectively 12 and 10 when John Higgins and Mark Williams last appeared in the semi-final stages against one another. It's an extraordinary statistic. How do you view that particular clash this evening when they get underway?
We're talking about John Higgins, Mark Williams. Yeah. Well, you've got John Higgins coming off the back of he's a potential final against Ronnie O'Sullivan. I don't think he's the type of person that's going to have a reaction towards that. Mark Williams has just slipped quietly under the radar, hasn't been extended that strongly, but you do know full well it's going to be a class match. And once again, we have four players in the semi-finals. Impossible to pick a winner, but what I would say is these four players, if you were looking at trying to find a yardstick for this season, who was going to be in the final stages, these are the four informed players. For different reasons, current informed players have got all the way to the last four.
Yeah, and it's going to be a cracking few days. It takes 3 days to sort all of this out, of course. Now, I mentioned your total of 11 semi-finals just when you were sitting pretty there. There's a man who's beaten them, of course, with one more appearance, Stephen Hendry. Now, you remember that there was much talk about whether Stephen would return to the Crucible after his second round exit earlier this week against Mark Selby. 25 years after he first made his opening bout at the Crucible, he had dropped some heavy hints about the subject of retirement, and when he left Sheffield to head home, all of us wondered whether we would see him play his last match, indeed if that was it, as he left the press conference. And indeed he left Sheffield having won this title no fewer than 7 times in the past. Well, it appears he just can't stay away. He's back. This time, Stephen, as part of our BBC team, and you're very, very welcome. It's lovely to have you.
Thanks very much.
Now, first of all, nice to be back, but I've got to ask you straight away. You've been mulling over a few things. Is the decision any closer about whether you stay or go?
No, I'm going to play. I'm going to play. I think staying in the 16 was a big thing in my decision, but I'm going to keep playing. I still love playing, you know what I mean? And I said to Steve, walking in here, not being in semi-final, that is depressing. You know what I mean? I want a chance to come back here.
So, having had the couple of days to think about it, you will be back. And will you be back? Will you be doing anything in terms of preparation next year in order to galvanise your form, to perhaps recapture
If I'm going to play, I'm going to have to give everything 100%. So I'm going to have to play in all the tournaments that perhaps I don't like. I'm going to have to do everything. There's no point in doing it half-hearted. If I'm going to play, I'm going to have to play.
Well, that is a real turn up for the books. I think many people thought that you would be calling it a day, so, well, there's a surprise. All right. Well, I'll tell you what, put your pundit's hat on now, not your player's hat, and assess the first of the semi-finals we've got here. Now, Judd Trump was 17, just like you when you first came to the Crucible. You won it 4 years later.
Yeah.
He's got a chance 4 years later.
I mean, he's on such a crest of a wave. He's just playing so full of confidence. He's enjoying every minute of it, and that's the most dangerous opponent. Someone that's really enjoying it and has got no fear. I wouldn't like to be playing Judd on a day like this.
But by the same token, the man who beat you, Mark Selby, suffered a bit of an upset last night against Ding Junhui. What does that tell us about Ding's form?
I've been really impressed with Ding's attitude. I must admit that it was one of the things that I doubted about him winning the World Championship was up here. But the way he came back against Bingham, obviously I was watching all of that match, I had a big interest in that match. And the way, Mark obviously came back to 10 each last night and then he won 13-10 shows that he's mentally strong enough to win it now. And he's only got, 2 or 3 billion people wanting him to win, so there's no pressure.
No pressure at all. All right. Well, it's just about time to get things started. We've got a whole afternoon of semi-final action for you, and that is not all. Judd Trump says he feels a bit invincible right now, and no wonder. He's potted his way clear of any trouble so far. Could the qualifier go all the way? Both Judd and opponent Ding Junhui have been touted as future world champions since their teens, and Ding breaks new ground as the first mainland Chinese player to make it this far. Huge interest in snooker in Asia, but also in Germany these days, and we meet the latest young man, Lasse Munsterman, who'll be trying his luck at Q School. Now, Paul Hunter was fondly remembered this week at a fundraising day for the late Masters Champions charity. We'll update you with progress on that. And as it all comes down to the wire in the Classic Shots Reenactment League, the boys are losing the plot again. Well, these are the last few nervous moments inside the Crucible before we get underway. It's gone very, very quiet. And there's a real atmosphere in here, I can tell you. Before we do, let's hear from the two men who are about to star in this drama in the round. Let's hear from them.
He's done a lot for his age. He's still only young. He's won 4 or 5 ranking titles already, UK twice. So it'd be a really tough match against him. I've never played him on TV though, so that'd be a little bit different.
It's good. He just won China Open, and he's so confident to play everyone. Just play my snooker.
I knew at the start of the week that I had the potential to go out and win it if I played well. But I'm just enjoying it. I love it out there at the moment. Just like it gets easier and easier every match you play on TV, and when you're winning, it feels really good out there.
I just feel myself and getting stronger.
Well, this is Judd's second appearance at the Crucible, but for Ding Junhui, this progress is for him long overdue. A first-round exit in 2007 was followed by 3 frustrating second-round defeats. But at last, he's getting the hang of this venue, and how. Won the last 4 frames, as Stephen Hendry said, in a row to beat Stuart Bingham, and showed impressive strength and composure to see off Mark Selby. Now, just one previous match between these men, and it came in the qualifying rounds of the 2005 UK Championship, the year that Ding won the first of his 2 UK titles. He's gone on to win another of snooker's major crowns, the Masters, in January past. So, semi-finals, here we come. Rob Walker, it's all yours.
Thanks, Hazel. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. One table, 4 players. It's semi-final time here at the Betfred.com World Snooker Championship. And the next 5 days could be absolutely fascinating. So don't miss one single second. Please welcome a young hotshot in the form of his life. He has stormed his way to this, his first Crucible semi-final. Yesterday he swept aside former champion Graham Dott. It's so far so good here in Sheffield for the newly crowned China Open champion. He's the ace in the pack, Judd Trump. And his opponent, bidding to become the first Asian in a World Championship final. There will be millions watching live back home in China. A great comeback against Stuart Bingham in the second round, and an epic win over Mark Selby here last night. He's the double UK champion. He's the reigning Masters champion. Enter the Dragon, Ding Junhui!
Well, it's worth reminding you that we're actually only halfway. They've played best of 69 frames so far over the last 12 days. And if one of them's to take the title, they've still got potentially 68 more to play. The semi-final staged over 4 sessions. The magic winning number is 17. And it takes a bit of stamina to commentate on it all as well. And in Dennis Taylor and John Virgo, we've just got the men for the job, I think.
The first frame, Ding Junhui, Sibirik.
Thank you, Hazel. And, well, 2 young men. Biggest match of their life, Dennis. It's as simple as that. Two players that have promised so much over the years, but I've been hearing about Judd Trump for the last 3 or 4 years, and he's come to it, and I think it's time that he just grasps the moment, and this will be, as I say, the biggest moment of his snooker playing career.
As Steve and Hazel were saying, it's a whole new experience for these two players. First time in a semi-final, one table at the Crucible Theatre. That's when the World Championship really comes alive. It's the best venue in the world. You've got lots of room and there's only the one table. It's very cramped when there's 2 tables. No distractions. They've got it all to themselves. And Ding Junhui, the pinky knocked in last night to clinch the match against Mark Selby, was a bit special. Be interesting to see, because that was a toughish match. Okay, 13-10, but it was tough. Well, that's the first mistake you would have to say, because if he can't get to the red that's over the pocket, he can certainly take the one to the right for the middle. But I think he has left that one, John, that's near the middle pocket.
Yes, I don't think we're going to be bogged down with a lot of safety here. Both players are tremendous potters. So, Ding Junhui with the first chance. Yeah, that pink you mentioned last night. And I think both of these players, you force them into a corner and you leave them a pot on, they're likely to knock anything in. And obviously you can have all your tactical and break building, but you still need to be able to pot balls, and
4.
And the two of them are absolutely superb at that.
Look at the tournament pot success rate, 92% Judd Trump, 93% Ding Junhui. That's for the whole tournament.
5.
long pot success rate, 1% separating the two players. And there's the safety success rate, quite surprisingly. Judd Trump 4% ahead there, John.
It's low though, isn't it? I think that confirms our thoughts
13.
that it's not going to be bogged down with safety. I mean, you've got to be looking for 90% and above. That's what we see in most of these matches. But as I say, these two players, they rely on their potting and break building.
Judd's got the family with him. That's his father, Steve, who's a lovely man. The family are fantastic, really. I had the pleasure of chatting to them. And there's his brother, Jack, who I think is a pretty keen golfer. Looks a bit like Judd. Same hairstyle. You could put them in a boy band, couldn't you?
Yeah.
18.
You didn't have to tell me it was his brother.
He's got to push right through the reds here when he pots this one. And he hasn't
19.
hit it hard enough. Always difficult to judge, but a little bit more top spin and that white would have ran another 6 inches and he would have been perfectly on the black. But he had to be very patient last night. Mark Selby come back from 10-6 behind to win 4 frames and make it 10 each, and I was very impressed with Ding's all-round attitude and play. He kept it tight, and then when he got his chance, he took it.
Caught the brown. Now can Ding Junhui get past the blue for this red? Second left of the table as we look. If he can, he'll take this on. Just get to it. Good pot. A little bit thinner on the blue than he would have liked. Yeah, a lot of people can talk about matches. Ding Junhui's match last night against Mark Selby, his match against Stuart Bingham. But I think he'll take a lot of heart from those victories. Gone into one and couldn't have hit it better. Now is he on anything easy? Can he get to the red that's closest to the right corner? This is how to play this shot. It's it perfectly.
Yes, John, a lot of people questioned Ding Junhui's game when he was behind, but I think that's all in the past now with that comeback against Stuart Bingham. To win the last 4 frames was a bit special.
Seven.
Just underhit that slightly. Should be okay.
$14. $15.
Already 34 points in front. It's a great chance for Ding Junhui to take this opening frame. And not a bad thing to do, especially when you're up against a potting machine like Judd Trump, because he is one of the most exciting players to come on the scene for many, many years. Plays the game a little bit like a young Jimmy White.
23.
You can't pot them if you're sitting in your seat watching your opponent.
So far, very confident start from Ding Junhui.
30.
Some of these 3 reds, 3 colours to clinch the frame. Put the nicely in the open.
$31. $38.
So red colour red will be sufficient.
$39.
And when you consider there's always a bit of nerves about, particularly at the start of a match, couldn't have played this better. So pot this red, goes 66
46.
ahead with 59 remaining.
$47.
Well, you can't start much better than this.
Yes, I thought maybe Ding would be feeling a little fatigued after his match with Mark Selby. It
52.
certainly doesn't look that way. He looks fresh. And he looks good.
53.
Mind, they are quite fit these days, all these young professional snooker players. Can you believe it,
56.
JV? I played you here in the semi-final in 1979.
That was my twin brother. Yes.
$57.
Yes, and that's why I was particularly with Judd Trump, although Ding Junhui up until this year didn't have the best record in the Crucible, but he's won a couple of UK titles, so he's used to winning
59.
matches longer frames. Of course, won the Masters early on this year.
Yeah, and I suppose
60.
Judd winning out in China, beating Mark Selby, that was in a big arena, so, you know, the Crucible is different. But at least they're winners in the big arena with one table, so, you know, they are used to it. Ding probably
67.
a little bit more experienced than Judd.
There's one subtle difference, Dennis, as you well know, though. This is the World Championship. And if you can get it on your CV, no one can ever take it away from you.
725.
Very impressive start this from Ding.
77.
Well, if he could make a century, it would be the 58th century in this year's Betfred.com World Championship, chasing a record of 83 centuries that was made last year.
80. $84.
Just dropped in a beautiful positional shot.
JV, what a way to start a
95.
semi-final in the opening frame this is.
Unbelievable. Just the start that any player would be looking for. Ding Junhui in superb form. One table and not at the Crucible. It doesn't seem to matter. He takes the first frame.
Well, the man who's had 2 late night dramas to go through, Ding Junhui, is actually ranked second favourite for the title now. They still fancy John Higgins at 15-8. Then comes Ding at 5-2. Mark Williams creeping into the spotlight here at 3-1, and Judd Trump, for all of his flamboyance, ranked at 7-2. He's the last of the quartet. Now, I wonder how you rate those odds, particularly given that the two men have had most table time and have played the most frames are the ones best fancied.
Yeah, well, obviously Ding and John are both favourite to win each of their semi-finals. But Ding, as I said earlier on, I've been really impressed with the way Ding's come through some tough matches this week. As I say, that was my one slight doubt about him winning, but he's showed tremendous grit. And this semi-final to me will just showcase modern snooker. I think it'd be interesting to see. I don't know if you can get the stats between how many safety shots in this semi-final and the other semi-final. I think it'll be a big difference.
I think you've just set the producer a lovely challenge. Well done, Stephen.
You think that Mark Williams is good value at 3-1 though, yeah?
I think he's excellent value. He's got a fantastic record against John.
Yes, he has. In fact, he's won both of their semi-finals. But that is still to come this evening. Let's get back to this one. Now, no one has really pushed young Judd Trump in his 3 matches so far. I wonder how he'll react when the squeeze comes on. Looks like Ding's going to exert some forces today.
Well, he's reacted with a pretty decent break-off shot. Easy return for Ding, though. Now that cannon on the green has left a possible pot, but I think he'll wait for a better chance. You don't get to win a world ranking event just by purely potting the balls, and that's an indication that he's got a decent tactical game as well. He'll be gaining with each match. He's only 21 years of age, young Judd Trump, so every match he plays he'll be gaining more and more experience. And that good safety that Judd played has forced the error from Ding, but there's no easy starter for Judd. One to the middle, but it's not all that easy. Cannon the red, then the black. But he's been rather fortunate there, has Ding. This is not an easy pot for the middle pocket. But it's in. And young Judd Trump is up and running. A little bit straightish on the blue. He could play for the red to the right of the bunch and then get on the black if he screws back about 12 inches. Wanted to leave this red straight, so he's now looking at the one next to the green, but he played for this one to the right of the black. I don't think he's dead straight, but he is. That's perfect. That's absolutely perfect, and an early chance in this second frame for this young potting sensation to show us what he's made of.
$14. $15.
Prior to this year, had only qualified once for the Crucible. That was in 2007, at the age of 17, when he lost in the first round to Sean Murphy, 10-6. Failed to qualify for the next
22.
3 seasons, but during that time we have been picking up valuable experience on the tour.
23.
And I think it's proved already this week that, well, particularly after winning the China Open, that he's ready now. Graham Dott, Dennis, posed a question when he was asked about Judd's chances of winning the title after he beat Graham, and Graham said, well, the way he played against me, of course he can win it, but if he has a bad session, can he cope with that?
That is the key question. And I think that's why Neil Robertson thought that this young man wasn't going to be ready for another 3 years before he would lift the world title. I don't think I could agree with that. With what we've seen here,
38.
although he's only 21, he's got the game to win a world title, but he's got to keep that performance at a very high level.
39.
But he's just a natural. This young player was born to knock snooker balls in.
And this is an excellent reply, and as Stephen said in the studio, this will be an indictment of how the modern game is played, because he had one half chance, Judd, in the first frame, sat down most of it,
45.
and he's come to the table and a great chance of winning at this visit. Just got to judge the pace off this yellow. There's a red at the bottom, and I think there's one just below the pink.
47.
Yes, there you see, clearly goes. Oh, he's thinking of switching to playing right-handed.
He is very good with his opposite hand.
The way things are going, we'll be getting rid of the reds.
Mind the two gentlemen in the studio sitting with Hazel, they're a little bit modest. Throughout the 80s and throughout the 90s, if you made one mistake, you sat on your seat while they cleared the table. Stephen Hendry, Steve Davis did that for the most part of their careers, or certainly at least 10 years.
54.
But certainly no semi-final nerves from these two players. This is just the start. I think everyone wanted. We could have a titanic battle on our hands here. We're looking at a couple of potting machines.
61.
Yes, wonderful start. And I agree.
62.
It's good to see them both coming out here in this one table set up in a World Championship semi-final, not showing any nerves at the moment, and getting one chance and winning the frame. And Judd is 67 ahead, 67 remaining, so just this red required.
75.
Four sessions to be played in this semi-final. Best of 33. Oh, I want to see some more of this, I can tell you.
$81. $82.
Possible second century in this second frame. The last red's going to be awkward, but he is a left-hander, so it's the correct side of the table for him. Well, what a start that would be. Both players making a century break. He tried to move the red. He has some shots up his sleeve, this fella. Yeah, I doubt whether we will see a century. This is a very tough pot down the cushion, 93. But with this fella you never know. Hey, what about that? And he's on the black. What about that for a shot? Wow.
And I do believe he had a bit of side on.
Well, there is that second century, and this crowd have gone wild. We're only in the second frame, and the atmosphere is electric. Brilliant pot on that red.
Well, this is just unbelievable. Talk about anything you can do.
He likes to play the exhibition shot when he's won the frame, and there's nothing wrong with that. He's a very modest young man, but he just wants to show his talent on a snooker table. Get in there, my son. Well, he won't pot this one, surely. Whoops, there's 6 pockets. No. What a fabulous response that is from Judd Trump. Bing makes it 102 in the opening frame, and Judd Trump comes back with 110. We want more of this. It's 1 each.
Well, what a start to this semi-final. Give us your reaction to that response from Judd there, Steve.
Is that good enough?
I think that's pretty explains it rather well.
The red down the rail was just superb. I mean, he's winning fans all over the place. He's been a breath of fresh air in this tournament. It doesn't look like it's going to stop. A phenomenal talent. We knew this anyway as a junior, but I mean, what a potter.
Incredible. I wish I had cue power like that. That's one thing I was lacking. That was phenomenal, that red at the end. Incredible.
He seems to be able to pot his way out of any kind of trouble, and when he's in full flow like that, I was going to actually ask you, Steve, does he remind you a bit of somebody else when he was in his pomp, sitting next to you?
Well, yes and no. You know, every player's different. I mean, Judd Trump's come along with sort of previous experience of Stephen and all of the eras, but I'm not too sure it reminds me of anything. If in a way, perhaps Jimmy White.
Yeah,
in some
he's probably the
respects.
closest to Jimmy. Yeah. When Jimmy first came on the scene, the same sort of cue action, same sort of the way of playing the game.
He says he feels a little bit invincible at the moment, and it's hardly surprising. How much confidence do you need to win this title?
He won the last tournament, that's all the confidence you can take. You win the last time you play, and then you come to the World Championship straight after on the crest of a wave, as I said. And he's just enjoying it, as I say, just loving every minute of it. Sometimes when it's a 3-day semi-final, though, at the beginning you think you can't see the end of the match, so you're really relaxed. So it'll be interesting to see as the match goes on how they play.
It can put a lot of pressure on your opponent out there, because all of a sudden he's winning fans in the crowd, hand over fist, and all of a sudden your opponent feels as if he's not the big I am anymore.
Indeed. Okay, well, so many twists and turns to come, I'm sure, in this one, but, well, it's been entertaining so far, hasn't it?
Yes, you can certainly say that again, Hazel. That was sensational stuff. Oh, but careless safety, and that is the weakness, you could say. We looked at the safety stats, and I did say at the time they were low. I don't think the black's available. I think he's got a red to the right corner, but he'll have to try and get up on the blue, I feel. Well, he was trying to avoid a kiss on the second red, and he's landed on nothing.
Well, John, we're usually very calm on semi-finals days at the start of a match, but you couldn't help get excited with those 2 opening frames. This was all that Ding could do here, but I mean, 2 of the shots he played at the end of that frame. I mean, this one here, he tried to move the red. Watch the white. Look at the action he got on that. That was quite incredible. But more incredible was this shot. Not only to pot it, but look at that white. It stopped, spun back, and got himself on the black.
There is a chance of this red to the left middle, but surely it's risk with very little reward, as the pink and black are tied up at the moment. So just the safety.
Needs the brown to come to his rescue because he didn't envisage that red springing out of the bunch when he played the safety, but it did do that and went right over the pocket. Now the pink is available if he wants to try and play a dead weight. Black tied up. Let's see how he plays this. Not very well. He seemed to hit that a little bit too hard. He just needed a gentle stroke there, and the natural angle would have took him onto the pink. Because he forced it a little bit, he created an angle that took him into the red, so mistake there.
Yeah, and probably could have potted that a little bit thinner, which might have not squared the white off as much.
Yellow.
Yellow ball. Good hit. Good hit.
Yeah, got a great round of applause for that escape, because had he have missed the yellow, it would have been called a miss every time, because there was an easier escape to the pink. So he hit it first time. That's a good shot from Ding. Blocked the escape route down the right side of the table. May be able to get back down the table off the red near the left side cushion. Lots of side on this. Watch the white. Square up. The natural angle would have taken that into the black.
The reason he played that red, because he knew there was no way he was going to knock one over the corner, but you've got to get closer to the baulk line, which he's done, but baulk cushion was the aim. Easy safety this, and he could get in behind the yellow. Nearly. But not quite. I think he's just left his red on the left hand side. Yes, just get past the yellow to the potting angle.
But he's really got to force this to get round the back of the reds that are near the black spot, and that can cause the player to miss the pot. It makes the pot much more difficult. Striking down like that. Now, has he got away with this? At first glance, I think he has. So rather fortunate there. But when you strike down on the cue ball and hit it at that pace. But young Judd Trump, well, he's just got round, played a safety shot. Which is a good sign, John, because he could have expected to have had something easy there to go at.
Well, yes, just looking at the average shot time, Ding Junhui 18 seconds, Judd Trump 16 seconds, but that's why when people advocate playing over shorter matches, not for the World Championship, because you don't want a good run of the ball in one session to make the difference, and over this 33 frames I'm certain there'll be a run of the ball either way. You like to think it'll even out. Trying to get in behind the yellow again. This time played it perfectly.
Very thin snick required here. Too thin. But listen, once again, he's got away with it. Even if he can get to the potting angle of the one for the left corner, there's no colour, and he can't get to the potting angle, so that's two rather pieces of good fortune for Ding. Two mistakes left nothing.
Yes, and that safety from Judd. Well, he probably couldn't find the middle of the baulk cushion, but there's a possible pot on here. The red on the right-hand side of the table. I think if he plays the pot, he'd go round the back of the red near the top cushion and would return to baulk. Well, is he playing the pot or safety? Decided to play the safety, but he's left a red on. I'm surprised that he didn't play the pot. I don't think he wants to rely too much on his safety at the end of the day.
He normally knocks this type of shot in.
One.
Oh, has he dropped nicely on the black? Maybe too straight. He's on the black, but I don't know whether he can get back up to the reds. In fact, he's looking to see if he can cut the yellow in. But it's... that's an easy black, but next colour will be difficult, so it is the yellow. You can see enough of this to cut it in. How's the pace on the cue ball? Just about perfect. Great shot. Not sure if the pink spot is occupied. If it is, he can pot this red, get on the pink. If it goes on the black spot, it will be a chance.
Four.
Yeah, there's enough room. That's why he didn't play for the pink on this occasion. Got the wrong side of the blue, but there isn't a lot of problem with cue power with this young player. But the black got in the way, and now the black's out of commission.
9.
Problem is, when you're playing at that pace, the cue ball is bound to swing wide off the ball he was playing. Where's the cue ball going? Where's the cue ball going?
Judd Trump 9.
JV, settle down, don't be getting excited. I know you. Where's the cue ball going? Yeah.
Well, if it had gone in, it'd have been an easy starter for Junhui. As it is, he's not left anything.
Well, how close is he to the brown? Can he get to the side cushion? And even if he can, he'd have to go twice across. There is a shot we used to play as like an exhibition shot, but it's where you hit 1, 2, 3, 4 cushions and just land into the pack. But I don't know if Judd would attempt that. And even if he did, could he get it safe? It's a shot you used to practice in the old billiard halls. You'd go around the angles. It's a natural, so he's going off the bottom cushion first. And he's got a similar result, and he's played it well.
Well, that was the red that you suggested the way he went, and I would have agreed with your way, but you can't disagree with that choice. Just have another look at this, and well, I think that tells us he knows his way around the snooker table.
Yeah, we could give him a nickname, but it wouldn't suit him. We could call him Sat-Nav, but I think he's too good a potter to call that. But once again, a mistake with the safety. And the double kiss, the old dreaded double kiss, is always on when you play this type of shot. Needed to hit it thinner. So we've had a century from both players, and now we've had a little bit of a tactical frame, simply because the black's out of commission at the moment, but the frame may soon open up in a few shots' time. Especially if he gets nicely on the blue. Now he's got a couple of reds he'll play for. Not a good angle to go into the bunch here. That's what Ding's looking at. White a little bit further to the left. He possibly would have gone into the reds, but now he's got a red either side. Doesn't have to do that. Well, it looks as if he might still be going into them. Off 2 cushions. It's not bad, because there was a red either side. Decided to risk it. Lots of topspin and a bit unlucky to stick right in the reds, but he'll drop on the pink if this goes in.
Seven.
And all of a sudden he has a decent chance in this third frame.
Thirteen. $14.
I think there's a red maybe at the bottom of the cluster. We'll go to the left corner. That's the one he's played on. Maybe he was thinking if he comes a little bit low on it, he could have brought other reds
90.
into play, but he's just about on it. But I think he'll have to go up for the blue, because I don't think the pink's available.
$20.
Well, if he'd have picked that up with his hand, he couldn't have played it any better than that. They look so comfortable, Dennis, don't they, when they're in the ball spotting and break building. There's been a few safety shots that leave a little bit to be desired, but that'll just add to the excitement of this semi-final, I'm sure. And now an opportunity. He's got this red to the right corner.
25.
And he can bring the other reds into play here. And the reds that are around this end of the table would be enough if he could get them with colours. He wouldn't need that awkward red that's near the black. You just trust a little bit to luck with this shot. He's very good when he's playing these little cannons, Ding Junhui, judging, but he knows he's going to be running onto other reds. Can he guarantee to be on a colour? I mean, personally, I'd be playing it with a bit of pace and trying to get up for the blue here. I wouldn't put all my eggs in one basket and try and stay on the pink.
Yeah, 2 ways of playing at a pace. Run through with lots of left-hand side, or screw back into them with a little touch of right-hand side. And he's screwing back. Look where he's striking. Now watch the cue ball. Beautifully played.
26.
That cue ball wouldn't have finished on the pink without the side. The reverse side, as it hits the cushion, spins off to the left.
That pink puts him 23 points in front. So if you could get 4 pinks with these 4 reds at the end of this table, at the end of the table, then that would be another 28 points. So he'd be 51 points in front with those 2 reds up there. So he can win it with these reds at this end, but they're not ideally situated.
He's awkward. He's going to have to lean over the 2 reds. He might need the rest here. He's got to be careful he doesn't foul those.
33.
He got a bit of action on that, okay, even though he was hampered slightly.
Had a quick glance at the scoreboard. You've got to be aware of the scoreboard, but he could play the yellow and these 3 reds and pinks, and he still wouldn't need the 2 awkward reds. That's the important thing at the moment. Working out a way to get enough points to get to the snooker's required stage without those 2 reds near the right-hand side cushion.
Well, he needs to get a cannon on them because they're all covering each other. Can he get enough spin on it? It's a good effort. It's a very good effort. Just a little bit unlucky.
35.
Touch more side. And he would have cannoned the pink fuller, and he would have been on that red.
.26 points to lead. He may think a risk is worth taking. Good pot. Has he developed the black? Not quite. But he'll be sneaking in behind the black now. Bought cushion first.
Junhui, 36.
He'll be a little bit disappointed. It was half a chance to win the frame at that visit.
Well, if he tries to land on these 2 near the pink, it's got to be absolutely spot on. And that's a pretty good pace. It's a very good escape there. Any more pace on that cue ball, he would have left one on.
I can't think of many players that have played on those 2 reds. I think I've been looking for one of the reds on the right-hand side of the table, but didn't he play it well? Fearless.
Well, talking about fearless, Ding was looking to see if he could chip this red in, believe it or not, because he would finish on the black. Now that would be a fearless shot. And maybe just a little bit too ambitious, that one, because that was quite a thin snick needed. Wasn't far off it though. That couldn't have turned out better.
1.
That's left him an angle on the black to develop at least one of the reds on the side cushion. Without the cannon on the yellow, this shot wouldn't have been available. He can bring 1, if not 2 of these reds into play. is okay. He might be able to take the one closest to the cue ball. He's a left-hander. It's the most awkward shot on the table, although the one that he's going to lean over is pretty awkward also. Normally you'd screw back for the blue just to try and get the cue ball slightly away from the cushion. Just depends on the angle. He's running through, as you can see, so not playing for the blue. Making sure of the red. And he's left himself an angle on the green to get up to the one next to the pink. He's got a slight angle on the yellow to also get there.
Very interesting when he played that red just before the yellow there. I'm sorry, Michaela, you want the yellow.
Sorry.
Hang on, Judd. Michaela's made a mistake.
I didn't notice that. Did she pull a red out?
$12.
Yeah, just going back to that shot, Dennis, when he had the red, he's just not hard enough. But to refuse to play it
19.
normally and get the rest. I mean, we see so many people overstretching rather than use the rest. It's unbelievable just to see him stroke it in. But he's just disappointed there. He's just 2 inches short of where he wanted to be. Now, is this red too risky to take on?
Playing right-handed, and it looks as if he's trying to cut it in the opposite corner. And look at this shot with the opposite hand. And he looks good with the opposite hand, a little bit like Ronnie O'Sullivan does when he switches.
Yeah, that was a tremendous pot, and the reason he played that, of course, there was an element of safety in it. He's not perfect on this yellow. Didn't matter. If he runs on, this will be perfect. Needs another couple of inches. He's just about on it.
22.
Once again, what, 3 more inches and he'd have been absolutely perfect on the yellow. Frame at his mercy. Still 5 points behind, and he's up to and including the pink.
There's 2 ways of playing this. You can go around the angles, leave the green for that pocket, or you just leave the green into the opposite. It just depends how he feels and the angle he has on it. Might leave the green for the same pocket as the yellow, but that's exactly what he's done. But he hasn't hit it hard enough. So he's pretty good at playing exhibition type shots, but that's okay when the frame is dead. He's going to have to pull one off here, and he's still 3 points behind. He'd have to go all the way around the angles, miss the middle pocket. He's got a long way to travel, but we know how good he is at this type of shot. Can he pull it off when there's still... Of course he can. Watch the white as he missed the middle pocket. He has.
31.
No, that's a little bit short also. Only needs blue and pink.
Oh, he's hit it too thick. Oh, he thought he'd missed it, but it's turned out to be absolutely perfect. He lifted his cue up, he thought he'd missed it. But no danger with the pink, so that was a frame that Junhui looked as though he was going to take. He'd run out of position. I said, would he get another chance? He didn't. Judd Trump does what was necessary. He now leads 2-1.
Well, that was anyone's frame there. The black got tied up early on, and there wasn't any big breaks in that until that 42 at the end. Ding had his chances. And this was a very risky one. He thought, well, if I can chip this in, I'll get on the black. But that is a tough cut. You look at the angle there. He got very close to it. He didn't think he was going to hit the pink. But that was the chance that Judd wanted. And he took it. So, fascinating stuff, John. You can't pick a winner here, can you?
Well, let's just sit back and enjoy it, really, Dennis, rather than thinking about who's going to come out in front, because the one thing we did see in that frame, which when we were looking at the stats as we watched Judd potting this red right-handed, I mean, this was a terrific pot, and he didn't come perfect on the yellow, but he played a good shot on the yellow. But it's the safety shots, wasn't it? There was a few loose ones there early on in the frame. Junhui played some poor safety, managed to get away with it, and then Judd played a couple of poor safety shots which could have cost him the frame. And I think that we've got to keep a very close eye on that safety success stat, because that could be the difference between these two players. The difference between winning and losing.
So Judd Trump then gets the final frame underway before the mid-session interval. You mentioned the safety success rate. Judd Trump just 2% ahead.
Well, it's getting there, isn't it? I'd say you've got to be 90% or above, but I think that 80% for Ding Junhui is a bit flattering, because he made a mess of 3 safety shots in the last frame, but was lucky not to leave a pot.
Not quite. Had he have potted that, he would have been on the black because he hit it thick. The white has gone to the side cushion, which is not a bad thing. There's the long pot success rate. Judd Trump way ahead. Ding down at 25%.
Just coming off the one cushion to rest in the cluster of reds just below the pink. Always a danger you can slide off here, and he did, but I don't think he's done any damage. And if you play a safety to the balk end, of course you've got to cover that red that's near the brown. It's probably not in Judd Trump's nature to play a negative safety, but I think that's all you've got left, young man. It'd be very risky to try and play a safety shot into the balk end. Well, he feels he can hit enough of this red to play safe off it, the one near the brown. Well, that's the bonus getting the snooker. He just didn't want to get bogged down tip-tapping at this end. Anyway, Ding Junhui can just get past the yellow. And played it perfectly.
Can't beat a nice nudge, and that was a nice nudge there off the green. Similar escape here. It's never going to get there halfway.
Foul on a miss.
Just wondering if
Judd
he's left
24.
enough room past the pink for Judd to take the pot on into the left corner. That's what he's coming around to have a look at, but obviously can't see enough of it.
Yes, and I can understand Junhui being a little bit wary of this, because if he nestles into one of those three reds just below the pink and he's a little bit too hard, he could leave a red to the right corner. Got to judge the pace to perfection here. That's hard enough. But he'll have left the pot. It's really a case of whether Judd Trump can get to cue it comfortably.
Made it look easy. Judd, one of these left-handed players, when using the rest, switches to using it right-handed. The black spot looks to be available. I don't know if it's tying the red and black up.
8.
No, it's not. The red goes. He'll be thinking about that for a few shots' time. Might be able to get on it now. He's got the perfect angle on the blue to stun down onto that red. That's the shot he could play to leave that red. Well, he could split them up as well, but is he on a red? I don't think he even looked at that one, John.
No, I think I'd have preferred your choice there.
14.
One was a great believer. Okay, you can go into and bring them open, but it'd have been much better to play on that red, as you suggested, just above the black, because once he clears that red, the black's available into both corners. And then you don't mind trying to split them up, but it looks as though he can just get through to this red. Well, clean as a whistle. The green's in the baulk end. Nudge off the yellow has not made any difference to the positional side of the shot. And if he's got a good angle on the green, he may elect to play it with pace and carry into that bunch that's just above the black and really bring them into play. Well, I just got into that too much, I'm afraid. He's blessed with plenty of cue power. He couldn't keep control of it that time.
Have a look at that. It's like watching a banana on the table, the way he arced that. Well, what's he looking at here? Not well, he may be playing a safety shot, but I think you want to forget about that plant, Judd. Even Mike Hallett wouldn't have taken that on in his head, eh? And Mike was known as Kamikaze Hallett, wasn't he?
Yes, I think the exuberance of youth. When you're blessed with this great ability and this natural talent, and the fact that you can pot practically anything you look at, you've got to just try and curb your enthusiasm and play the right shot. Too thick, much too thick. Won't reach the baulk line, never mind the baulk cushion.
He's got away with that one. That was a mishit, and he's done well, really, because he almost cannoned the red and blue. A little shake of the head there tells you what he thought about that shot.
Better shot, but still not finding the baulk cushion with enough regularity. Either player. Well, as I said in the last frame, it's just adding to the excitement. unfortunate again. There was no way he wanted to hit the second red, and the flick off the second red has taken him round the back of the pink.
This is what John was talking about. You watch this. Just flicked the other red, and it did find the gap then round the back of the pink. Oh, this could be good. This could be very good. Just a bit too pacey. I thought he was going to stop in behind the yellow and brown, but at least he's covered the one to the right corner, and the one that's next to the black is far from easy.
Yeah, but you get the feeling he'll take it on. The reason I think he'll probably play the pot on the red to the left of the black, because if he does play safe, he's got to cover this red to the right corner.
Yeah. And once again, look at the cue power. His timing is unbelievable. He's hit the black and the white is still spun right back. All done with timing, that. Little bit like one of your chuts on the golf course, JB.
Yeah, this is...
6.
I'm having a look round at one or two of the faces of people who've been coming here for years and years and years, and I think they're all looking a bit at some of these shots and shaking their head. This is amazing.
7.
Well, and I've got to be honest with you, it was our colleague Clive Everton who said to me 3 years ago, he said, "Have you seen Judd Trump yet?" And I went, "No, I haven't." He said he is the real deal. But because he kept getting beat in the qualifying stages, I hadn't seen a lot of him.
12.
I know what you meant now, Clive. This boy is a talent.
Oh, 97% pot success rate. Ding's at 92. But not often you see a player up at 97. 62 pots out of 64. Those reds are all just blocking each other. That's why he's got up and got back down again. Into the left corner. They're all covering each other by the looks of things. And it's the same to the right corner. So not straightforward just yet, but a good healthy 41-point advantage.
$20.
Ding Junhui sitting in his chair. I would make a suggestion. He's got to improve his safety. And the reason I say that, it's just
27.
a better length. I don't care how good a potter your opponent is. And Ding now's 77%. You've got to find that baulk cushion. And no matter how good they are, they're going to find it difficult to pot balls from there. And Ding is one of the great natural talents, there's no doubt about that. But I think, well, is he on the red? Has he run too far? And I think he may just have to concentrate
34.
a little bit harder, Dennis, on his safety. Don't think he can leave this young man with his hand on the table and a long pot to go at.
I agree with you 100%, John. Meanwhile, this is awkward queuing and a tricky one along the cushion. Now, where's the red going? That
Judd Trump, 34.
probably a little bit ambitious. Striking down on it to try and force it in made the pot much more difficult. I'm surprised he didn't just drop it in and leave the pink there. It would have been an easier pot rather than forcing it, especially when you're bridging down on it like that.
Yes, it was a difficult way to play it. This is a big shot and a big chance now, I believe, for Ding Junhui. Can he punish Judd Trump? Well played. Now it needs to make the most of this. Just asking for the cue ball to be cleaned. Now having to play for the low red, but that's okay as long as he can pot this without cannoning into a second red.
7.
If he can't, he's going to have to judge the kiss off the second red here. He's got to be careful. It may not be as straightforward as it looks.
When he pots it though, John, it's going to clear the path for another red into the same pocket. The one near the black spot isn't available at the moment. He's just looking to see what's available into the right corner, but the one you mentioned, when this disappears, it certainly clears the route for that red near the black spot. As you can see there, watch, that's an open pocket now for that one.
8.
Needs the black back up onto its spot because he was 56 points behind when he started here. And he's played for that red that I mentioned. And he needs to keep on coming unless one of the other reds goes. But I think he's okay on the one near the black spot as long as he doesn't have to cannon the black. But
15.
Looking at that angle, you see another 4 or 5 inches, he'd have been perfect. Got to be careful here with the little cannon. Played it well.
16.
That was beautifully played, and he can cannon the middle red when he pots the black, and that will open these 3 up. Just a gentle little cannon onto that middle red of the 3 here. Played beautifully. Just the one awkward red now, the one near the cushion,
23.
and mid-session interval coming up. It would certainly give Judd Trump something to think about. He took a risky red on, bridging over a red. Tried to force it in.
24.
As you say, it hampered, which made it more difficult, rather than just trying to give the pocket every chance. Decided to play it firm, and he missed it. The red along the top cushion is going to be the big hurdle that
30.
Ding Junhui's got to get over here.
31.
And he may decide to play for that red now. I know we always see players leaving it till the last minute, but I think he'd be guaranteed to get on the red along the top cushion this time. And he's going to have to play for it, if not this shot, after the next black.
He may be trying to move it, you know. And it's gone wrong. It was a risk. He didn't fancy leaving it along the cushion, tried to develop
58.
it, but it's gone wrong.
Yeah, well, it was his choice, and maybe if it had caught the red a little bit thinner than half ball, the cue ball would have gone up and he wouldn't have been snookered by the black. So just a safety. He's got within 18 points of Judd here, but he's got to find a good place for this cue ball, and I would suggest, if he's not going to get the snooker, tight to the baulk cushion.
Ding Junhui, 38.
That's a pretty good shot there. This is the shot he tried to develop the red. He seemed to hit it a little bit harder. He put it safe. Hawkeye is giving you an idea of what would have been the correct shot, but Hawkeye, well, he never misses. He always gets them right. But it was a calculated risk that Ding took, and I mean, if he hadn't knocked the red into a potable position, finished on the other, would have been saying what a great shot, and just didn't work out.
Too thick, but he's not left the straight pot because the green is hampering Ding Junhui. So nothing left really but a safety off the red that's just around the black spot area. Can't really get in behind the yellow and brown. The reason he can't do that, because if he played it thin on the left hand side as we look, he could well knock the red towards the right corner pocket, and that's how he's hampered on the red. I'm certain he'd take on if you could find the middle of the cue ball, but the green's in the way of that.
And the black's in an awkward spot, because if you try to swing it around the angles to get in behind the yellow and brown, you could cannon into the black. And that's what he's tried, and he's just missed the black. That's a pretty good effort. That's a very good shot, but he got so close to that black. He's thinking about it. He'd love to take this on. You can tell by his eyes he wants to have a go at this. Look at that. He is dying to take this red on. Now that he's pointing the tip of the cue here, he's looking at the safety, but to me, he's back looking at the pot. We'll find out shortly. Maybe played it in such a way that he wasn't going to leave a great deal, so if he can roll to the pink, he's gained the advantage.
Ping pong.
It's amazing, John. He played that long pot as a shot to nothing because he was pointing the cue where he wanted to leave the cue ball. Amazing. That's some shot to nothing, isn't it?
Well, it's incredible. It just seems at the moment if Ding Junhui doesn't leave the cue ball tight to the cushion, then Judd Trump's going to pot anything. And I'm afraid, for all the skill we have in this game, and we've seen so far, this is a hit and hope. He's got to hit this red and hope he gets it safe. Needs a bit of luck. He's going over the corner. I don't think the green has come to his rescue. Judd Trump comes to the table. As we see, the red is clearly available. 19 points to lead. And the frame at his mercy. Mid-session into after this one.
Well, we've had a great 4 frames. The 2 opening frames were sensational, both making century breaks. The big colours went a little bit awkward in the last 2 frames, but it's still been so entertaining and exciting.
7.
26 ahead, so It will be 3-1 to the young player from Bristol, who now lives in Romford.
10.
And plays at the Grove Snooker Academy there.
14.
Yeah, you say it's exciting, Dennis. I'll be honest with you. Some of the balls he's potted, I find it a bit scary. I don't know how Ding Junhui's feeling.
It's scary nice, though, isn't it?
25.
He wants to pot them all, including the black. This can go anywhere, this. He does like to entertain the crowd. That's been a superb session of snooker. A century by both players, and he must be so pleased with himself. He goes to the mid-session interval, leading 3-1.
Well, you know, we've had a fascinating chat in the studio whilst watching Judd Trump go about his business, and Stephen, you said to me, wouldn't it be just great to just go out and play like that these
I know,
days?
he's just having fun. The same as Steve. It was great when we used to play and just have fun playing, and he's just having the time of his life out there. And the shots he's playing, it must be a light white. They'll have to check the white, because he can't screw the ball like that. It's not fair.
But Steve, when you look at the way he's playing with such abandon, almost, it's extraordinary. And you know, I was reading what Graham Dott said after his defeat by Judd in the last round, and he said he wasn't sure that if Judd cannot pot everything, there must be surely a session in which his level is going to go down a bit. And Graham wasn't sure that perhaps his tactical awareness was such that he could go on all the way, whilst obviously saying that he thought it'd be wonderful for snooker if he could.
Yeah, well, obviously that's what you have to say, because you can't really criticise any department of potting. So you would then naturally go, well, obviously let's see what he's up to when it gets a bit of the nitty-gritty and, you know, percentages and tactical play. But of course, what's happening is, if he continues to knock more and more balls in, he can destroy his opponent. It doesn't matter what his opponent's doing, because if you went back to when Stephen Hendry came on the scene, all of a sudden he moved the bar up in the potting department and the breakbill department to such that the other players, whoever they were, regardless of how much knowledge they had, regardless of how much they were, you know, understanding the tactics and the percentages, didn't make any difference. He was steamrolling players. This looks like what Judge Trump is doing now.
But it's quite interesting, the parallels actually. And I did say to you, at what age did you think you became the complete tactical article? Because it wasn't 21, was it?
I think when I became, as you say, the complete tactical article was to the detriment of my natural game. You know, Judd is just getting better and better, and he's potting balls. He's in the semi-final. I can only see him getting stronger. Obviously, there's going to be pressure times that are going to come in the championship. He's only 3-1. It's the first of 17. But as you say, as long as you're having fun out there, it's a great feeling to have.
It is, and he's 3-1 up in this semi-final and playing with carefree abandon. It is amazing to see, it really is. Well, from the sublime to potentially the ridiculous. It's the second last day of the Classic Shots Reenactment League. Dennis got a bit miffed yesterday. I wonder who'll get the ump today.
Welcome back. We've got our esteemed panel here again, trying to test their expertise by recreating some snooker classic shots from years gone by. They're scoring each other, which has proved quite contentious, to be fair. We do have a leaderboard, which is currently headed up by Steve Davis. Still all to play for, though. Plenty of points left. Our next shot is Ken's Calamity.
This was for a maximum break, and you imagine the pressure. It didn't show, but you know, you can imagine the cue moving about, and all you got to do is put a little tracer left hand side on and hit it too hard and you miss it. That's what happened.
Wasn't as bad as that.
The fact that you nearly doubled that in the corner pocket meant that it was a poor effort in many ways. Now, I know there's another shot to go, and I could be strangling myself tactically here, but I feel it's a 1.
Difficult one to mark. If Kevin would have potted that black, he'd have won a car. I'm going to draw a picture of a car for you and give you a mark of, I don't know, 2.
I don't know.
Difficult one to mark.
2.
A picture of a car, though.
Well, actually, John, to be fair, I thought you replicated that shot quite well, particularly the shaking at the back arm. So I'm going to give you Big Fat Lady, number 8.
Thank you, Ken.
You hit it too hard, JB.
I think that's what happened with Ken, though. Don't you think he
hit it that hard? Right,
Well, I'll give you. I won't be as bad as the two up the other end. I can't believe.
I mean, they haven't got a sense of humour.
Well, mind you got a great sense of humour whenever I pot the black in the middle pocket and you give me 1 point, but I'll give you 4. That's the type of guy I am.
What sort of a competition is this? Oh, I hope it goes in.
Hold it, I dare you. Gets in.
I think he tried to pot it. I'm going to give him 1. I think it was a bad shot.
I'm with Neil all the way. I think he tried to pot that, and he doesn't like blacks. He just doesn't like blacks off the spot either. 1.
Well, I don't think that's fair. I think it was a pretty good effort, and you know, it was a little bit of artistic impression went into that. So I'm going to be a bit more generous, not too much more. So I'm going to give him a 1 as well.
Well, I am of the opinion, when I was arguing the case before, when Steve gave me 1, that we're trying to emulate what happened. And I thought that was a perfect replication of Ken's Miss Black. But, having thought about it, I'm going to give him 1 as well. For being perfect.
Oh,
that one.
Oh, yes.
It's in.
Nice. Oh, I meant that one.
Oh, okay.
You played it too soft, Ken. Every pocket a chance you should have given.
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, I like Neil's way of thinking. You know, playing hard. It's for a maximum break and a lovely, and hit it hard enough that you might fluke it in the middle.
Yeah.
I don't like that way of thinking, mate. You're only getting 4 for that.
Oh, that's a good one. That's what.
No, I'd have to agree with Dennis. It was a good effort, though. It nearly went into this middle, although you pointed to that middle.
Yeah.
So, for effort alone, I'm going to be very generous and give you a 2.
You're a good man, Ken. Nice work.
I just like the presentation of it, but not that much.
I think the line that Neil actually hit the ball on was perfect, but the fact that you've basically turned the tournament into a farce has gone against you. And all of a sudden we wonder what we are doing here, but I'm still going to give you a 4 for the line.
Thank you. I was sitting in the commentary box and I thought Ken is going to win an £80,000 sports car, but I thought you should have went back to the table and wiped. You came round and I thought you should have given yourself a bit more time. And I also thought you should have put your hand on the table. And I also thought you shouldn't have stunned it. You should have rolled it in. But
so in other words, he shouldn't have gone back to his tail wipe his cue. He should have come to the commentary box and actually what he was going to play next. What should have done? Dear me.
What a, well,
I'll tell you
that was a good effort.
I'll tell you what.
Well, that was a very good effort on the black, I must say, and it actually was very close to the way I played it. But because of all the, I thought you should have done this and I thought you should have done that, I wasn't impressed with that whatsoever. So I'm going to give you another little 3.
I must admit the explanation was getting on my nerves, but he did bridge from off the cushion, so I'll give him 5 for observation.
I think, for me, for being a smart arse, 4.
I thought you went on a little bit, but it was very well presented, and I thought it was very nice work. 5.
John was right. My hand was probably shaking like that at the time.
Queuing off the bridge.
see, I think too much cue out there.
And it went something like this.
Yes!
Well played.
Go and get the car.
Yes.
Marvellous. Well, if it had potted at the time, I'd have given him the score. I've waited a long time to do it, but I'm going to give him a 10. The maximum.
Well, just to set the record straight, obviously, as we were getting closer to the finishing line, we want the last shot to be very close as well. And quickly summing things up, I think I'm going to give Ken a 1 for an excellent one shot.
I think maybe the expression after the horse has bolted comes to mind, mate.
Absolutely.
Bad luck. 5, halfway there.
Halfway for me as well, because I think you tried to miss that, Ken. You cued that so badly that you potted it, so you're going to get it.
That was a shocker for the Nugget, scoring a measly 4 points. Dennis's 17 points now sees him take a share of the overall lead with Steve. Incredibly, just 7 points separate our 5 competitors.
That was exceptionally cruel to put poor Ken Doherty through the mill there about his missed black on the 147. But Stephen Hendry's finding out that broadcasting is indeed a hard school of knocks, isn't it? Now tell me this.
That's why I decided to keep playing, so I didn't have to do that next year.
Exactly. If you're not already aware of this, Stephen's already announced it live on the air that he's going to continue playing, and we have had a huge number of messages. You don't know this. A huge
Good
number
or
of
bad?
messages, good, saying that people are delighted that you're going to carry on for next season. So there's a lot of encouragement, and in fact we've had loads and loads of questions in for you, and I think let's put it in context here. Paul Melvin from Stoke-on-Trent says, and this is pretty key to it, is he still putting in the required time on the practice table? And if you're not, you're going to have to, now that you're going to come back.
Yeah, I mean, I don't, I've said many times I don't put in the hours of practice that I used to do sort of in the 90s when I was dominating, you know, playing up to sort of 5, 6, 7 hours a day. It's different when you have family and you have commitments, and then I mean, snooker's pretty boring sometimes. When you're playing on your own for 6 hours, there's no new shots that you can learn. You say, I'll practice that today. So you're basically just repeating the same shots over and over. So it's like asking you to interview the same guy for 22 years or 23 years and ask the same questions. It's quite boring after a while.
Well, I've had 10 years with Steve and John. I know how you feel. But to that effect, do you do this on your own, or are you going to seek help elsewhere, or will you indeed seek new practice partners to make it new and keep it fresh?
I think what perhaps the thing that I've got most lazy about maybe the last couple of seasons is actually, you know, I practice at home now because the club where I used to practice shut down. So I need to, I think, maybe go out and start having more competitive practice with other players. I think that's possibly what's making me less sharp in matches, so perhaps less of them on my own and try and search out some players. I mean, we've got a few not bad players in Scotland, Dot, Maguire, Higgins, so maybe chap on their door.
Yeah, and of course with this commitment to play in the Player Tour Championship, which is up to 12 events up to Christmas, that's an awful lot of match practice anyway.
Yeah, so I think it would be wrong to start, you know, going back to playing 6, 7 hours a day, 6 days a week, because as you say, there's so many tournaments now, and I think you would soon burn yourself out. So it's about finding a happy medium. Okay,
well now Jack Jacob Milner from Huddersfield says, what was the defining reason for you carrying on?
I think even if I didn't stay in the 16, I think I might have still played. You know, talking to Mandy at home and about things, and just think, you know, I still feel I've got something to give playing the game. As I said in my press conference, the game is good enough, but you need the belief. And I think you know, once I get that back, you know, maybe by practicing with other players and things, but certainly staying at 16 was a big incentive to sort of keep playing.
I can tell you actually seem quite excited now that the decision has been made
it's easy
and you're
now,
going to commit.
at the end of the season, but yeah, I mean it's, as I say, if I'm going to do it, if I'm going to play these tournaments, I've got to make the commitment, and I've got to make sure that I go down there and give myself the best chance. Like last year, if I go down, you know, not determined not to enjoy it, you're not going to.
Yeah. Okay. Now the last one we got from Le Gaffer or Lee Gaffer. It sounds like he's the Gaffer anyway. What would you have been if you weren't a snooker player?
Oh my goodness. I left school 6 months early with no qualifications, so my prospects if I didn't become successful at snooker weren't good. But I haven't got a clue, because basically since the age of 12, 13, snooker is all I've done. So you know, I can't really answer that, I'm sorry.
Well, you've not done too badly, I suppose.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Okay. Stephen, thank you very much for those, and keep them coming. I'm sure we'll have lots to talk to Stephen about over the coming days. But if you've been following the championship over the last couple of weeks, you'll notice that we've had a number of respotted black to decide frames. And I did mention earlier in our broadcast that we were going to give some of you the chance to take on the pros and see whether you could do any better in the respotted black situation. Now, we've got 1 or 2 willing volunteers. Stevie Davis is over there, and he's actually found Kel Brook, who is from Sheffield, and Kel is a boxer, so don't be picking any fights with him, Steve. He's the current British WBO and Intercontinental welterweight champion. Be careful what you say, Steve.
Thank you very much, Hazel. Kel, you're back in Sheffield fighting on the 25th of June, undefeated welterweight champion. That must be great fun coming back.
Oh, it's amazing to be boxing in Sheffield. I haven't boxed since I was a young teen, so to be boxing in Sheffield again, it's great.
I'm sure you'll have plenty of fans coming along as well.
Oh, it's going to be a sellout, hopefully, so it's going to be good.
Press conference soon on where it's going to be and everything?
Yeah, everything's going to get announced.
You were in the arena watching Judd Trump and Ding Junhui. What was the atmosphere like?
Oh, it's amazing, electric, you know. They just potting balls for fun. Atmosphere, great.
Quieter than it would be at a boxing venue?
No, I think at a boxing venue they really get into it, you know, but definitely good and compact atmosphere.
Okay, well, it is where you may become unstuck with the undefeated pole. We're going to have a game. We're going to have a re-spotted black. Do you want to go first or second?
I'll go second.
Okay, right, fair enough. Well, I'll break off. I'll play what's now the bog standard safety shot to the side cushion, hopefully leaving you no shot at all. You're on your own. Not an attempt at the double. Oh! That's so unlucky. Budge, I've been known to miss these. That would be too easy. I might try the 5 or 6, the 5 cushion here, see what goes on. That's close. That's pretty close. Oh, I'm so sorry. What can I say? Please, Kel, come down here. I do apologise. I was supposed to miss that, but I'm so sorry. I apologise.
What happened?
I'm so sorry. I was supposed to miss that. I mean, good luck in the fight, and it's been a pleasure. And thank you very much. And you're going to go back in and watch the rest of the tournament?
I am, yeah.
Or the rest of that session?
Definitely.
Okay, well, pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Steve.
Michaela, I thought you were going to hit him there, but no. You'll save that for your fight. All right, now we've been introducing you to several candidates for the Q School. It's the qualifying school for the Snooker Tour. 12 places will be up for grabs next month, and it will be staged here in Sheffield at the Academy. Now, there's been a huge variety of entrants, some old, some very, very young. Yesterday, we met young Luca Brissell from Belgium, 16-year-old, and today we meet a man who's double his age from Germany, Mr. Lasse Munstermann.
Snooker is not just a sport, it's something different, it's the way you live. I started with one table and I rent a very small flat to put in this one table to practice, and suddenly it got bigger and bigger, and now we are here in Rating, in the place where I live, and I have an own club with 5 snooker tables, and I just live in the next room, and this is the perfect setup to practice, to live, because snooker is my life. When I started to play snooker, it wasn't very big in Germany, to be honest, and I was at that age quite a strange young boy to play snooker while others are playing football or other sports. I was very lucky with my father because he had very big knowledge. He was playing English billiards and he was a very good teacher at that time. As time moved on, I needed other coaches as well, more professional coaches. Because when I started to play snooker, there was nothing like that. I had to learn everything on my own, apart from my father teaching me. But nowadays, when you want to start to play snooker, there is the academy. We send you there, and you can learn at school still whatever you have to learn, so you don't have to quit school to play snooker. And I think this concept is brilliant. This gives everybody a chance to try to play snooker professionally, and I didn't have that chance when I was young. Snooker in Germany is now 25 to 30 years old. Compared to England, this is like nothing. But the speed that it is progressing now with the youngsters coming up, some 10-year-old players are able to play century breaks already, and I think this is the right way to go for Germany, and I think in the next 5 to 10 years we will have quite a lot of good players. 10 years ago I've won the Euro Tour to qualify for the main tour, so it was the first appearance in this professional circuit, but the last 2 or 3 years I was very short before getting into this main tour, and now I'm trying my way in the new Q School. With this Q School, you can be there 3 weeks in a row, playing 3 tournaments, and there are 12 wildcards given. So it's okay to have a bad day and to play some bad shots, but you're still not lost. You're not lost in Thailand for 2 or 3 weeks being out of the tournament. This is a very big opportunity for me to get one of these wildcards, and that's what I'm aiming for. I definitely want to reach the main tour. I want to be in the best 32. This is what I want to go for, and all the rest is a bonus.
And good luck to Lasse. He'll be starring in that Q School. And so too will Tony Knowles, a man who, of course, has been a regular on the tour for many years and is trying to get back on it. He's the winner of 2 world ranking titles, and we'll be speaking to Tony about his chances tomorrow. Now, lots and lots of messages and emails and tweets coming in from you, and many of you asking to see how the Crucible Theatre is rearranged from the 2-table setup into the 1-table. Well, it takes a fair bit of time, I can tell you, and immediately after play had finished last night, when Ding had finished off his match against Mark Selby, the boys went into the arena, and it took them till 5:30 this morning. This is how it all happened.
Going to the 1 table from 2. We're stripping out all the equipment from table 2. So, and they're going to move table 1 into the middle for the final and the semis. Number of teams working. There's people from the scaffolding company, transport, people from my team, from CIS, people from the lighting company, all working together to make the transition down to the final setup. Just making sure that everybody works safely and doesn't get anybody's way. Should take probably 3 or 4 hours tonight, I thought, and a bit more in the morning, just to re-establish all the camera feeds, make sure everything's working, make sure everything's right for tomorrow's play. Tonight we've been quite fortunate because the play's finished reasonably early. We have in the past suffered with quite late finishes on this night, so this has often started at midnight or even later. They'll work hard for the next 4 hours so they get in a good position to be ready for tomorrow's play.
Now they're just centralising the lights. We've taken the slate off the frame here, and then this is ready for the frame to be moved over and centralised under the light in the centre arena. And once that's in position, then this is the frame's re-levelled and rough levelled, but rather than check for straightness again, and then the slates go back on, and then we start rebuilding again, completely re-levelling, refill all the joints, fit the cloth, fit the cushions, finish all the table off, and then template and level checks. Sounds really easy, but we're going to be here for a while yet, don't worry.
Nice work, lads. Very well done, and that's the state of it now. It looks great, doesn't it? All that work, and Mike, the engineering manager, did give them a couple of hours off this morning. He's like that. Okay, let's get back into it, and the Judd or not. Judd Trump is a-rolling in this semi-final. Dennis and John, he's 3-1 up.
Oh, I'll get you a job at a tabloid newspaper, Hazel. The Judd or not. Good line. And he comes to the table. And Ding Junhui will be disappointed that he's left him a chance of a pot, and he's not found a cue ball that's tight against the baulk cushion. So you wouldn't better be against the young man knocking this one in. Well, there's a surprise.
Yes, he never even got it in the jaws, which is unusual after what we've witnessed in the first 4 frames of this semi-final.
Well, we have a pulse question for you. Who will win the World Championship? Vote on bbc.co.uk/snooker and click on pulse. Ding, Trump, Higgins or Williams.
Looking forward to hearing the result of that pulse question.
Yes, well, even when we saw the betting before this match started, it was very close. 15-8 favourite John Higgins. 7-2 outsider Judd Trump. I think that might have just changed slightly.
But once again, Ding with his safety, not reaching the cushion, and we have said previously, against a potter like Judd, you've got to get the length with the safety shot. He's looking to see if the black would go. which means he'd have to leave the white somewhere near the line. Well, that is very tight, so we had change of plan from a positional point of view. Got into it too well there. Played with topspin. It doesn't matter whether he's playing with screw back, topspin. The power is just there in abundance. Very delicately played. They are tricky little shots just to roll to the green. We've seen so many players hit those too hard on these superfine cloths. Just going to nestle on the one that's near the cushion. You would think that would be his escape. It looks pretty straightforward as long as he gets dead weight on it. Just dead weight and shouldn't leave anything. Is that hard enough? He's a long way short. In fact, he's so short he's left the reds for the middle. Now, why would you finish too short? Much better to hit it too hard. Been rather fortunate. He's just held his hand up there to apologize. Could quite easily have left the red, the yellow snookered ding, and the blue, the snookering ding for a possible pot into the right corner. So a little bit of good fortune there. Oh, this is a tough one. The white's in the pocket, is it? Yeah. And the red in the bulk area next to the brown leaves a good chance, but he's a bit unlucky there, Ding, not to have been left a chance after Judd missed the pot in the middle. Well, we've got the pulse result in. It'll be very interesting to see who will win the World Championship this year. Oh, look at that. It's close. 33% for Judd Trump. 34% for Mike Williams, just out in front. 6% for Ding.
One.
They're obviously not voting in China, John.
Well, they probably just saw the first 4 frames. I'm sure our people who do the stats and everything else, if it was, as our viewers suggest, a Williams-Trump final, would that be the first world final with 2 left-handers in it?
4.
I think it would. Maybe in any tournament.
Yeah, 2 world champions. Mark Williams, a left-hander, and Neil Robertson, who lost to this young man in the opening day here at the Crucible.
Just misjudged the cannon, but is this red closest to the cue ball?
9.
Still on. Just about goes. Got the pink tied up. Just looking at the potting angle, he may be able to release the pink, but it'd be more guaranteed position if you played for the blue. He has one to the right middle. That's the choice, but not the perfect potting angle, it doesn't appear. couldn't get the right side of the blue.
No, he's pretty straight on this red, and oh, there's only half a pocket there, so he's coming round to have another look to see if he could pot the black. That's what he's looking at there, and it's very tight. Maybe if you were just dropping it in, but you'd need to be right in behind it. It's a funny angle, this. He may have to play this with quite a bit of screw. Let's have a look. Can he force an angle? Yeah, he has, with a little bit of side, but it's going too close to the blue. That's end of break. Seem to have a little trace aside on that.
Judd Trump, 60.
He's left ding in a Chinese snooker. That's what we call it when you leave the ball this side rather than behind the colour.
Yes, I mean, he's got to come down the right-hand side of the table. Cushion first and just nestle on to this red that's just near the right corner pocket. Played it well and hasn't left anything. It's only a containing safety. A chance for Judd Trump to get the cue ball back to the balk end.
Just while this little tactical battle's going on, I'd like to wish my daughter Denise a happy birthday. She was 40 yesterday, JV, and she's only been to the Crucible once when she was 14 in 1985, the only time she's ever been to the Crucible.
Yeah, that was a good year. You've got a 40-year-old daughter. You don't look that old, Dennis.
Got a 4-year-old as well, 4-year-old daughter as well, JV.
Well, he's caught it thin, but he's caught it too thin, and the cue ball is coming in out of balk. Now, does the blue cover the red to the right corner? I don't think it does.
It's amazing, he seems to have just gone off the boil, so before the mid-session interval he never looked like missing a pot. And okay, it's not an easy one by any means, but we're so used to seeing him knocking, well, all sorts of pots in.
I suppose Junhui will be a little bit relieved because prior to the mid-session interval he couldn't have left him anything. Can he pot this? Well, he could. He knew he was going to run into the second red. And maybe could have done with playing it a little bit more pace. But maybe he was just bending it round slightly with a touch aside. No easy colour to go at. Just walk into the balk end. He knows that if he plays safe in the balk end, he's got to block the path to this red on the right hand side of the table.
Junhui, 1.
Well, he's not blocked the path to it, but he's got a good cue ball. So this would be even for Judd. a risky red to take on.
Looks like he's aiming to have a go at this. I'll tell you what, you need some confidence to take that shot on, because he was going straight into the reds. I mean, that shows you the confidence that this young man has. Missed a few pots early on, but he pulled a beauty out there, didn't he? Just underhit that slightly.
6.
Got to be a bit careful here if he cannons the pink. Needs to push it on.
7.
It's okay. He's got the perfect angle on the blue, so he judged that cannon well.
Well, I'm not quite certain what he played for there. If he played for the red in the middle of the table, he's overdone it.
$13.
But was able to play the pot and control the cue ball nicely.
$18.
42-point lead. So he's looking for 3, possibly 4 of these remaining reds. The reason I say 4, because at the moment the pink and black are out of commission. Be happy with the cue ball.
19.
Mind, I did notice with this young player, when he's near a cushion, John, he seems to be able to pot them at pace, you know, where a lot of players would roll them in. Okay, he's not on the cushion, but he's pretty close to it, but he can power them in. You know, even there, it just seems to be effortless for him. Free shot, 24. This one. He's 48 ahead. He can take this on, go around the back of the black and reds with a little bit of screw inside. Mind you, you never know with this fella. He seems to just pop the balls and cannon into other balls and not worry about it. Bit too much side on it that time. Is he going to be lucky again and get away with it?
Judd Trump 24.
Not this time. I think this red goes to the middle, and he's got a healthy 48-point advantage. As we show you that, just overcut that slightly. Bit of a chance for Ding this.
One thing Junhui won the first frame of this match with a beautifully compiled break of 102. I didn't think I'd be saying what I'm saying now. I think he needs a frame badly. Otherwise this session could slip away from him. As we always say, you can't lose it in the first session, but you can go a long way to making life difficult for yourself. Quick glance at the scoreboard.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if he's thinking of potting this and canning the difficult red out next to the pink. It's a bit of a risk. You know, it just depends how he feels. He can play to get nicely on the blue and then wait for another chance, but sometimes with Ding, he will risk this type of shot. But he's not guaranteed to get good position if he plays that. He might just play for the blue. And I would agree with that choice there. Get a few points on the board before you start thinking about bringing that one into play.
Yeah, I think the red to the left of the black will go into the right corner. And looks to have played that very nicely, because I think the black is definitely available into the left corner pocket, and he's just checking to see if the red just above the black is also available into that left corner.
Ten.
Well, if the red above the black isn't available, he can just nudge it on now. He's very good at this type of shot. He's got a lovely touch when he's in the balls.
I think he's already thinking, you know, of nudging the red and leaving it in a potable position so that he could take the pot on and bring the difficult red into play. But he's gone a bit straight, so if he's got an angle to screw back and leave the black in the same pocket, he could leave an angle then to develop that difficult last red. But he was just trying to leave this in such a way that he could pot the red and move the red. But
no, he's straight on this red. I don't think he could screw back for the black in the same pocket as you suggested, Dennis. And he's hoping now that he's leaving himself an angle on this black to be able to screw back and maybe disturb the red direct. But he needs the perfect angle for that, and the way he's looking, he hasn't got it. So what most players would do now is pot the black and try and get a snooker on the last red. Try and get a snooker behind the pink.
now this is an interesting choice 25. Here. He could try and pot this red, he'd be on the pink, but if he wobbles the red in the jaws of the pocket, he'll get the snooker. But he just screwed right in behind it, so no problem. He's in the driving seat now. Although he's 23 points behind at the moment, he's almost favoured for this frame.
Yes, this isn't an easy one to hit because it's not a one cushion escape. The green and brown are stopping that. So he's going to have to just miss the green.
Yeah, he's got a couple of cushions that he could come off there. But the thing is, if he doesn't hit it that way and he comes around the table, he's going to leave a free ball. But that's the only line I can see that he can take to get out of this snooker.
Excellent shot. But you just feel that Junhui has got the advantage in this tactical exchange now, trying to get the cue ball behind the black. Well, he misjudged the angle, but at least he got the red safe. That pink is a problem ball for Junhui. He'll need that. Judd Trump doesn't.
Where's this cue ball going? If it goes in the pocket, it... Oh!
Junhui 4.
Had that have dropped in the pocket, he would have handed the frame to Ding, you would feel.
Well, that's why we say fractions, don't we? It was a fraction away from going in.
Not sure the depth, John.
I don't blame Junhui having it replaced, obviously. Although the way the cue ball was in the jaws, maybe he'd have been better off putting him back to play from where the balls had finished.
Okay, thank you. Right.
You see, you could try and double this red back up the table again, but he's a bit concerned about that. But it's probably an easier shot than a little thin one. 19 points the difference. Will he try it again, or will he try and... No, that's a fluke. That is a fluke.
Yeah, he put his hand up there and he's apologised to Ding Junhui. He did not play the pot. He tried to get in behind that red.
Absolutely, yeah. He played it with loads of right-hand side to hit cushion first. And he immediately apologised. Well, the one good thing from Ding's point of view, he didn't drop on the black. Now he's playing to hit cushion first, loads aside, and all of a sudden he's a good potter, but he's not that good. You could do with the black safe also here when he's trying to get this snooker.
Judd Trump won.
Well, he sacrificed putting the black safe, which means that there's only the pink that could come to the rescue if Ding can get a chance. He's got to escape from the snooker and somehow knock it safe here. "20 behind, you can look all day at this type of escape, but you've got to just play it and hope that you can knock the ball safe. You need a little bit of good fortune here. You never know where they're going. And I'll tell you what, he'll settle for that.
There's just a gap. You can get through to the yellow. He can't pot it in the left corner, but can he play it into the right corner, or is the enough in the left corner on? Oh, if he was to play it in the right corner, he'd be sending the cue ball back to the balk end, but the enough may be on, so just trying to get it safe. And he knows with a potter like Judd Trump, you need to get it very safe. I'm not certain Judd will be able to see enough of this yellow to pot it. I think the green might just be covering the potting angle. It was. Now this yellow is running loose, and it's not going to get covered. But once again, Ding Junhui in a position where he's got to be careful of a corner pocket if he plays the pot. And that's why he didn't play the pot. And I'll tell you what, this looks absolutely inch perfect to me.
There's just enough room to sneak around the back of that yellow. I don't know if there's an angle here. Brown seems to be slightly in the way, and the pink might have to go the other side of the table. Well played. Just enough angle there. He's played another good shot as Ding.
Yes, he's 20 points behind. Judd Trump needs yellow and green. Ding Junhui, the 6 remaining colours. As always, with a snooker, this is very easy to hit, but not certain to get it safe. Not certain to get it safe.
Well, I think it's finished almost straight, but he's got a lot of cue power, has Ding, as well, and he might risk this with a lot of reverse side striking. In fact, he's got a slight angle to punch it in with loads of left-hand side. If he had missed the pink, it would have been easier, but he still can do this. He's still got an angle to pot the green and come off 2 cushions.
Yes, and of course he's developed the pink. So one good pot on the green and he could win the frame.
That's the shot that's available to him. That's pretty good. He's played it well. The pink might be slightly in the way. The fact he's overran it slightly. He'll have to lean over the pink, which could cause a problem. Yeah, he's going to have to get the extension.
Asking for the cue ball to be cleaned because he's going to play this plain ball. And he needs really to stay, if you like, the brown side of the blue to make it easier to get on the pink. It's a big frame this for Ding Junhui. Now, as he stops short of the blue, he has blue, pink and black. Massive frame.
Well, he showed what bottle he has last night against Mark Selby. He really did. So can he close to just 1 behind, as you say, John?
$14.
Perfect on the pink.
$20.
And the black, a formality. And in it goes. Well, that was a tremendous clearance from Ding Junhui. Judd Trump was making all the running. Ding Junhui desperately needed a frame and quickly. And that was one he needed badly. Just 1 behind now, 3-2.
Well, Stephen mentioned at the start of the programme how impressed he was with the commitment and indeed the composure of Ding last night. And again, Stephen, we've seen that this time, haven't we?
Yes, I think, you know, Ding Junhui has matured into the finished product now, and it's only a case of him crowning himself world champion at some stage. But of course there are so many good players now queuing up to be world champion. It's not the certainty that perhaps it would have perceived to have been 10 years ago.
What's kept Ding back in your estimation? Because when you look at his record here, he's struggled obviously to get past round 2, and it's as if the shackles have come off a little bit now that he's there.
I think he's matured more as a player. I think his mental attitude wasn't perhaps strong enough to last the 17 days. I mean, none of us know how difficult it is to be away from home and for such a long time and everything, and playing these long tournaments. But I think that's the one thing that's held him back. But the 2 games against Bingham and Selby have proved to me that he's got the right attitude now to win this.
Did you find that as well, watching the last 2 matches, particularly against Stuart Bingham when his back was to the wall and he won the last 4?
I think once he won the UK and the Masters, that he was ready to sort of get over the curse of the Crucible from his own perspective. But I suppose you could always think, well, he's never going to play a good game at the Crucible, but somewhere down the line it had to happen, I think.
When you do achieve a result as dramatic as that against Stuart Bingham the other night, can you try and quantify, explain to people what it does for you, Steve?
It completely relaxes you for the next match. Although he had a tough match against Selby, you think you're going out of the tournament, and all of a sudden you come back into it, and then it's just a weight off your shoulders, and you've got nothing to. You feel like you've got nothing to lose after that.
So a total reprieve, really. Okay, well, he certainly looks as though he's fresh out there today. Ding Junhui at the table.
Almost as fresh as you are, Hazel, there in the studio. Don't know about those 2 world champions next to you, but you certainly look very fresh. Can he knock this long one in? Not the best break-off shot. No, a long way off. A long way off the pot. And he's left a possible to the middle for Judd Trump.
a bit disappointed with this. Well done, Junhui. Missed that by a long way.
We've seen some of those pull to the near jaw earlier in the World Championship here at Sheffield, but this table looks to be playing beautifully. You've seen at the mid-session interval the work that goes into getting down to one table, and the table fitters and everyone involved do a fabulous job here. The work till 5:30 in the morning. It's not bad. I thought for a moment there he was going to cover everything.
6. Seven.
That's useful, being able to sit on the table. He's quite a tall lad, Judd. Few more inches on that cue ball and he would have been absolutely perfect.
14.
Have to go for the blue by the looks of things, whichever red he chooses. Always nice if you can keep on the black, but there's a red up the other end, so it doesn't matter which side of the blue he gets on here.
15.
Even straight's okay, but it's amazing the number of times you finish straight when you've got reds either side. He had a little bit of angle there.
Yes, and he played that really nicely. Having to go up for the blue.
21.
And the fact he's just a bit short doesn't really matter because there is a red at that end of the table. But you feel the red he wants to get on sooner rather than later is the one just to the left of the black. That will clear
26.
the black for both corner pockets. I'm sure he wanted to be on this red as well so he could play for the blue, but he'll have to play for a bought colour off it because he's just not got the right potting angle.
Well, we know as soon as he gets a chance he'd like to get on the red next to the black, but he did queue up at the two behind the pink to see if they were a plant, and they are. A plant for the middle pocket and a plant for the corner. Now that's a poor shot. If this red doesn't go into the corner, that's probably the worst positional shot that Judd's played. Well, you'd have to say maybe in all these matches here, he just under-hit that by a long way.
Yeah, I think he was undecided there which red to play on and didn't give it enough due care and attention. That's careless. But when you play as free-flowing as Judd Trump does, I suppose it's bound to happen occasionally.
The shot he played and he under-hit it by quite a way. And there's Hawkeye. He's never short of pace, that fellow. It's ambitious, and the red's coming over the middle pocket. Okay, tried it as a shot to nothing, but you never know where they're going to finish up. But that plant was very tough, and he's left it on.
Yeah, a little bit of frustration there. He was disappointed he wasn't on the red and tried to force the issue. Could be costly.
One.
Played that with lots of left-hand side just to check the cue ball. Didn't check it enough, that's why he flicked the red. But if he comes down the... Well, he can come down left-hand side of the table. I'd prefer myself to come down the left-hand side of the table because he's got the red immediately above the black and he's got the red immediately below the black, which are accessible. So he's just got to find a path in between the brown and yellow. If he comes down the right... Well, he's looked at that plant of those two reds below the pink. I suppose he could play that. Well, that's a dreadful shot. And lucky not to going off. Well, he's at the brown almost full ball. They've played some great snookers, but these are basic errors. The last couple of shots, both players had played for position.
But to take the plant on now from the jaws of the pocket, it's so much more difficult. You needed to be up past the blue, and then the plant would have been unmissable, but from where he's sitting, it's very tough indeed. He'd have to hit the first red so well. Though that's what he's looking at. That's the player's view there.
Yeah, it smacks of a little bit of frustration, desperation if he's going to take this on. No, he didn't take it on. Needs to miss the bump of the middle, and he has done.
Junhui. 6.
And of course, playing the safety as he did, that plant that was there is there no longer, and it's not a bad safety shot. That's well short of pace with that safety. But Junhui will be looking for a pot where he can have an element of shot for nothing to it. What's he rooted out here?
Shot to nothing. I think he can take the pot on here. Well, maybe he couldn't hit it thin enough, but he's got a good cue ball. Good pace this time. If your opponent pots balls from that position, well, let him get on with it, but that's what you've got to do. Get a good length of the cue ball and make it difficult for a potter like Judd. Well, there's not many potters like Judd in the game of snooker, that's for sure. Judd just wandering around to see what to play, and there's brother Jack there. He's got his earpiece in. Are you off too at golf, Jack? Yeah, I thought so. Can you beat your brother at snooker, Jack? Oh yeah, very good. We'll see you here next year then.
At this level, it's always dangerous to catch your baulk colour full in the face. And with this young man's potting ability, even more so. But it looks like he's playing the safety, playing the red, and using the knuckle of the middle pocket to go back to the baulk end. And the red going in.
and perfect on the yellow. He played the pot, knew he'd catch the knuckle, would send the cue ball back to the baulk end, but I've got to be honest with you, I didn't fancy him for that. When will I learn?
It was a straightforward pot, John. I'm surprised you never spotted that one. Now, is he going to finish on that red next to the black? Just about, I think. He may not be able to play for the black, but that red up the cushion, well, he played it in such a way as if he didn't pot it, he was going to wobble it in the jaws and it would have been safe. But probably the pot of this year's World Championship. An absolute gem.
Four.
Just got to be careful here with the positional side of the shot. And he's okay. It's pulled up short. Great chance now for Judd Trump.
11. 12. 18. 19.
'He's had a quick glance at the scoreboard. He's 50 ahead with
26.
67 remaining. He needs the black and he needs one more red, and that opening red down the cushion looks as if it's going to give him this frame.
$34. 35.
It's a good response, this,
42.
after Ding won the previous frame.
43.
Now a few little exhibition shots as the frame is safe.
$50.
Now let's see what he let's see what he does with this black. Let's have a look where the cue ball goes here. He'll probably just drop it in, but he does like to spin it around the table. Well, it's in the pocket, but that doesn't really matter. A good response from Judd Trump. That red down the cushion was unbelievable, and that paved the way for the frame for the young player from Bristol. He's 2 ahead again at 4-2. Well, he's potted some balls in this match so far. It's early days in this semi-final, but we're going to show you a few of the pots that he has knocked in. There's a little montage. Now watch the cue ball. Have a look at that, a banana shot. This was unbelievable because of the cue ball. Perfect on the black. Then right-handed, he's cut this into the pocket. Another banana shot from Judd Trump. Now this, he's hit the black and then screwed back. The timing there was perfect. Another cracking long pot. But this John, was the best of the bunch.
Yeah,
I mean, he could win shot of the championship and have first, second and third here. It's really remarkable and refreshing. 2 more frames to be played in this first session. Important ones, you feel, for Ding Junhui. You just get the feeling you wouldn't like Judd Trump to open a gap, because the way he's playing at the moment, he doesn't need any more confidence. It's been a sensational session so far. The only thing I could fault is maybe some of his safety play, or he played a plant in that last frame that wasn't really necessary. Gone for that. Thought he may be able to miss the black, but he caught the red too thick. And I think this red's onto the right middle, so he's not got away with this. Sorry, I said the right middle, of course I meant the left middle. That's not bad. Ran into the blue, made certain of the pot, but he's knocked the blue on nicely. So this was the pot. If he'd have hit it thin, or potted it, he probably wouldn't have kissed the black, but he hit it much too thick.
There's 6 reds out in the open
6.
here, so this is a good chance for Ding.
Seven.
He could have done with coming back a few more inches there. He's dead straight on this. There's the match time, 2 hours. And we've had 6 frames. The one long frame that lasted nearly half an hour, the 5th frame.
It's a disappointment that Ding didn't get nicely on the blue there. He's having to leave himself this mid-range red. The only advantage with the red, that just potting it
12.
will give him position on the black. But it should have been so much easier than this.
Yeah, Ding needs at least one of the 2 remaining frames. Played perfectly. Terrific angle on the black to get to the reds. We just show you that little nudge there after potting it. Worked out nicely for Ding. I mean, he still has a chance of coming out of this session 4 frames all, and wouldn't he be delighted with
20.
that? But
21.
Just under hit it slightly.
28.
So I don't think he can play for the black off this red. Now he could play a little cannon on from one red onto another, leave himself on the pink, but that could go wrong. The safest bet is to play up for the blue. And then
29.
nothing could go wrong. A nice angle on the blue, well played.
$34.
unusual pattern for the reds there. 8 reds don't usually see them like that. They're usually more square at the back. And somehow he's going to have to get an angle on them in a couple of shots' time to bring them into play. He's picked off all the loose reds.
$35.
Yes, I don't think there'll be any thought of trying to disturb him. He'll play for the one red in the open. Didn't want to stick on it, and he didn't. And it may be worthwhile here in
42.
rolling this red to the left middle and playing for a baulk colour. I mean, I'd play for the blue if I thought I could hold for the blue, but I'm not certain he can do that. But if he could leave a nice angle on yellow or green, he could play a cannon into the main cluster.
Yeah, absolutely, John. But he's hit it too hard, hasn't he? Because with the pink sitting as it was better to go in off the green or yellow. But he just, well, he just hit it too hard there. That's a poor shot from Ding.
Disappointed with that. And it went in the heart of the pocket, so no excuse for running it too far down the table. You can play the snooker, but it's not going to get you a lot of value. Disappointed that.
I'd rather push the green safe.
Ding Junhui, 43.
Even if he hasn't got the snooker behind the brown, I think the green safe is a good choice there. He has got the snooker though. But as John had mentioned there, if he had have dropped on the yellow or green, he could have opened the reds. That's a bit too narrow.
Foul and a miss. Ding Junhui, 4.
Shouldn't be a problem because no way he can leave a red on if he just comes off the two cushions.
Okay, Ding.
Well, I say no way you could leave a red on. He's missed the bunch and caught the single red, and this one may pot. Missed the bunch and just flicked that one onto the pink, and there's enough of that red sticking out not to hit the pink and red at the same time.
Yeah. It's amazing, Dennis, sometimes, isn't it? You know, and he's landed perfect on the blue, and it's an easy cannon. Easily the red first there, and if these break nicely, then this is an opportunity to reduce his arrears once again to just one frame. Tried to play the controlled cannon, and he'll be thinking, why didn't I play it with a bit more pace now? If you're going to play it like this, you don't want to hit the first red full in the face. You want to hit an edge of them. And of course, if you hit the first ball full in the face, it's like a real stopper. And that's what's happened. He won't be winning the frame off this visit now. You're disappointed. Okay, it was an easy safety. But he knows now he's had two chances to win this frame.
6.
Will he get another one?
Ding might be able to take a pot on here. That's the one he could do with finding a gap.
Absolutely, Dennis. It's a dangerous one if he doesn't find the gap. and the red doesn't go in.
He has that little bit of insurance of the green safe when he pushed it into that position. Good shot. Don't blame him for not having a go at the red. He's played an excellent shot. As long as these two reds are not a plant that are near the pink spot, and I think the other red will be blocking the possibility of that happening. He's looking at them, and there you see the plant will hit the other red. But if he can see enough of it, that's the safety shot he'll play. He'll play off the red that's closest to the pink spot. Well, he's spotted something else. Well, I'm not sure about that shot. He tried to pot that and thought he could find a gap down the left side of the table, which was always going to be very difficult. And he could have left it a lot easier than this. I think he's sitting there realizing now that was the wrong decision he took.
The opening red in. He's not perfect here. I mean, he's nicely on the yellow, but I don't think he can get to it without using the rest. And if he's using the rest, can he get the required amount of run through or screw back to get close to the next red? Good cueing needed here. Where's the cue ball going? Where's it going? Ooh.
Settle down, Jeffy. It was going close to the middle pocket. I don't know what he was attempting. He had the pot of the cue up in the air as if he was going to try and pot the red in the left corner. I think with a 56-point advantage, he quickly forgot about that. Well, he hasn't played the best shot. We talked about him having to play good safety, and that is not a good safety shot by any means. That was careless. He's given himself a little telling off there. You don't see that very often, but he was so annoyed with that was Ding. You could see how angry he was. And look where the pink's gone.
One.
Well, if it's dead straight, it's a little bit awkward because he's hampered with the green. But there's no way he should have been having a go at that pot because Ding should have had that safe. I think he's given himself a right old telling off there.
Judd Trump one.
So a bit of a let off for Ding. He's back at the table much sooner than he thought. Pink and black. Awkward now. Can get on the black though from that angle.
One.
Yes, big favourite for this frame now. glance at the scoreboard. "63 points in front and just 59 remaining." That's why he just made certain of the black. Well, this red he's closest to will go to the left middle. I don't see any point in not playing the pot. If it goes in, Judd Trump won't come back to the table. He'll come back to the table now, only needing one snooker. And he's left him this red on. There's one 4-point snooker to tie, but... Poor choice of shot, that, from Ding Junhui.
Yes, because if he can get 2 reds and 2 blacks, the red that's near the cushion is in a pretty good spot to get a snooker in behind the black. But he's missed the red, so that you would feel is the end of the frame. He may not be able to pot the red direct, but I think he can hit cushion first. If not, he can plant one onto the other, but just a little touch aside and this will disappear into the pocket.
Yes, I'm certain Judd Trump would have liked to have conceded them, but the etiquette of the game is you don't concede when it's your opponent's turn at the table. Nice to see that the young man is upholding those traditions.
Ding Junhui won.
And Ding Junhui played the black like that because he knew Judd Trump wouldn't be carrying on. So another important frame, Ding Junhui clawing his way back. One more frame to play in this session, and he's one behind.
And I just wonder, when you're playing a man of Judd Trump's extrovert ability, how difficult is it to contain him? Is there any strategy that you can put in place to try and do so? What do you think?
I think someone like Mark Williams or John Higgins would obviously be able to, would probably have a much better safety game than Ding. I would think a tactical game, that's fair to say. But it's interesting to see who's going to win the scrappy frames, because none of these players will really want to be involved in scrappy frames.
Is there anything you do differently, Steve?
Well, no, because I think the game has changed significantly from the days gone past, and I think, you know, if you went back and thought of a Jimmy White when he was brand new on the scene compared to Judd Trump, it's very hard to judge. But I would imagine now all the players seem to be very much up to running speed in the tactical department. Safety's nowhere near the big issue it was back then. And you know, we all talk about it, we laugh about it. Safety's overrated these days, and Stephen would agree that.
Someone just broke your cue.
Yes, that's my cue gone in the background. But it is becoming less of a. Yeah. It's all about opportunism these days. It's changed.
Without a doubt, and these two guys are one of the best, you know, the two of the best players at the moment. Just attacking snooker, getting any chance to put a long red to make a break as soon as possible. That's what snooker's all about these days.
And to that end, it's so difficult when the other fella's at the table. You can't leave him anything because you know the other fella's are going to be capable of clearing up behind you. That puts your pressure on your own game, surely.
Yes, you've got to be strong. I think when you get your chance, you can take it completely as well. So you've got to be playing well, cueing well. You might have to sit out for 2 or 3 frames, but then get straight back in the driving seat and immediately, you know, put your foot on the accelerator and you're off and running. There's no way to play yourself back into a frame these days.
From what we've seen so far of this match, what do you make of the momentum? Judd still managing to keep his nose in front there.
Yeah, I think Judd looks the more confident out there. Ding doesn't, you know, there's a couple of times he's gone back to his chair and he's shaking his head a bit and murmuring to himself. So Judd's definitely the most composed out there at the moment, I think.
And in terms of the matches that they've played, Ding's had a couple of really hard matches. Is that going to play more of a factor the longer the match goes on, Steve? What do you think?
No, I don't think so. I don't really think so. I think, you know, even if you're tired, this is the World Championships. You're firing on adrenaline, so you know, you just go to sleep afterwards. But
Indeed,
they won't go to sleep during.
Okay, back out we go. This is the last one of the session.
Yeah, Steve Davis said there's plenty of time to sleep when the World Championship finishes. When you're out there, the adrenaline keeps you going no matter how long the matches are. But these young boys are so fit these days. Won't be taking too much out of them. when you turn professional, every player's ambition is to win the World Championship at the Crucible Theatre. Meanwhile, Judd can't wait to get to the table after that last shot from Ding. 75% with the long pot successes. Going to be straight on the black. He can't do much with it. He's very, very good, as I mentioned, from the cushion. There's the slightest of angles. Now, he seems to be able to force these in, whereas a lot of players would just drop them in when they're close to the cushion. Be interesting to see how he cues this one, because he's one of the best I've ever seen from this position when forcing it. There you go. Amazing. You know, that looks so easy what he's just done there, but it's far from easy, I can assure you.
Well, you couldn't cue a ball better than that off the cushion. Struck that absolutely beautifully. Could never get perfect on any red, but he's got this one to the left middle.
9.
And able to hold for the pink. Last frame of this first session. And what a very entertaining session it's been. It started off like a house on fire. First 2 frames. Since then we've seen a few mistakes. We've seen some unbelievable potting. And we've had our fair share of exciting finishes to frames. So all in all,
15.
Tremendous session.
Judd Trump, 15.
Just went slightly out of position there. Yeah, this match will continue in the morning, starting at 10 o'clock. A lot of people will be watching the royal wedding, but you'll be able to watch the snooker on the red button also. I think it's just a brilliant lineup for the semi-finals. We've got a Chinese player, we've got a player from England, we've got one from Wales and one from Scotland.
I think Junhui's last safety shot just finished on the baulk line. Put no pressure on Judd's safety, but he didn't make a good job of it. And you've got to be careful with this one. You can always get a double kiss off these reds. Pretty good, but just clip the baulk colour, which has stopped the cue ball from going tight against the baulk cushion. So hand on the table, you'd expect a better safety. Could be in behind the yellow here. He'll be close. That's the problem. You leave your opponent with his hand on the table. There's no way that anyone could get that amount of side on if they were tight against the baulk cushion. Oh, this looks good. This looks very good.
Michaela Tabb just having a look to see where the cue ball is. Judd stepped back to let her see exactly where the cue ball is, just in case there's a misplayed, so that she can replace it. He's got a little gap there, believe it or not. There's not much of a gap. Oh, he played that with swerve. What a shot he's played there. And that picture showed you the white swerving. And like that shot here, the crowd responding to, just watch the swerve here. See the white turning to the right as we look at it? Oh, 10 out of 10 for that one, Judd. Not bad under the circumstances there.
Yes, I would agree with that, Dennis. He was in a lot of trouble there. At least he found a path back to balk. It was a tremendous safety from Judd Trump the time before. And Junhui just, as we know, frightened to leave him a long pot because he fancies in getting it. It's putting pressure on every part of his game.
Well, it may have looked a little bit reckless, but you look where he's got the cue ball. Okay, he didn't get the pot and he scattered a few reds, but he played that as a shot to nothing. And had he have potted this, he did well to find the gap round there. Oh, but what seat cannon the reds. How did he miss those two?
Well, it was unbelievable. He missed one by a fraction and then another one by a fraction.
Well, one mistake now. Just look at the way the balls are situated. One mistake could cost you the frame. And that is that mistake. Tried a very thin safety there. And Judd Trump now has the chance with the balls all over the table. The black may be a little bit tied up. Things got to sit down there and see what happens here. A little thin snick required. Missed it altogether. Could do with the pink back on its spot, because I think at the moment the black is not available. Might just play up for the blue here, but he could try and get the pink back up onto its spot. Well, it's going to have to be the green now, and then just concentrate on blues until he can do something about the black.
Four. Five.
Be interesting to see this. He might just decide to just knock as many blues in as he can here. And having said that,
10.
I think he almost dropped on the red to the left of the black, but I would just concentrate on the blue for the time being.
$11. $16. 17.
Well, he's still on the blue. Here's one for you, John. Who sang that song? I never
22.
felt more like sinking the blues. Well, singing the blues, not sinking the blues. It's this young man that's sinking them.
Well,
23.
I think the original was by Guy Mitchell, but Tommy Steele did a version of it. You're not going to start singing, are you, Dennis?
I knew you would know the answer. And he is concentrating on the blue.
28.
And he keeps getting the
21.
correct side.
Yeah, he's okay, and of course, as you say, he's just happy just to be chipping away here. This is an important frame, last frame of this session, and to have any sort of advantage, you'd be contented with it. And on the overall play, I'd say he probably deserves to have a 2-frame advantage. He's, as Stephen Hendry said in the studio, he's looked the more comfortable in this first session, but every credit to Junhui for coming up with the goods, because he was put under pressure early on.
That's okay. He's not bothered about knocking the black safe. He's got an angle on both reds to get back up for that blue. He's already potted 5 of them. He might as well win the frame with all blues.
$35.
Beautifully played again. He's never looked like finishing straight or the wrong side of this blue.
$40.
Red colour red needed to get us to the snooker's
41.
required stage. And he's just about made the angle on the blue.
$46.
So that's 7 reds and 7 blues he's potted, and he's 61 ahead. He's just had a quick glance at the scoreboard. The applause tells you that Junhui needs a snooker. But he has played his part in this opening session of this semi-final. It's been superb. The start was amazing. Ding opened with a 102 break. Judd responded with 110. Okay, there hasn't been many big breaks since that, all in the 40s, 50s. But it's been a very entertaining opening session. And 5-3, well, Ding won't be too concerned. He could quite easily win the second session, 5-3. Well, what about that? Played with the right hand, by the way, bridging over the red, right-handed. And there's another blue. Well, he won't be getting a red and blue here unless he doubles this one.
58.
Well, if he does, Dennis, I want you to break into song.
No, he's going to cut this one in and play for the pink. It's a straightforward, easy shot to play, isn't it? Frame over, he's having a little bit of fun. As Stephen Hendry said, this boy enjoys every minute at the snooker table. And he's potted it. He's potted it. And he's hit the knuckle, and he's on the blue.
Come on, Dennis, give us this, the opening line.
I never felt more.
Singing the blue.
Oh, it's not going. That would have been the 10th blue. It's not going to make it. What a fabulous session of snooker to open up this semi-final. Well done to both players. And mum and dad and brother enjoyed all that. So we've had a super session, and Judd Trump takes it 5-3.
Well, you got to say he is a crowd pleaser, this lad, isn't he? With the swerve shots and the newly christened banana shots as well out there. What do you make of the style and the refreshing format that he brings to snooker here? We haven't seen it for a long number of years.
Well, it's a very cavalier attitude, and of course it can only happen, as Stephen said, it can only happen at a certain time in your life and your career, I think, and to have absolutely no fear on a snooker table is something that after a few years I'm sure you can't have. But that particular session as enjoyable a session as I think many people have ever seen here at the Crucible. Had a bit of everything, great standard of snooker, but such a great standard of potting by Judd Trump. He really has stolen the show here these last couple of weeks, and I'm sure he's got loads and loads of people now wishing him to win the World Championship.
For sheer entertainment value.
Yeah, it could be, you could argue whoever wins it's the celebration of snooker, but this guy could sort of perhaps move it all on again.
Indeed, yeah. There is a slight suggestion, and Dennis mentioned it there, that there's one or two shots which some might consider reckless, but he gets away with it seemingly all the time.
That's what I did as well. You know, I've been watching some old stuff of me, and the shots I went for were just as crazy, but he's loving it. He's full of confidence, and he's getting far more shots than he's missing, so it can only get stronger in my opinion. Obviously it's a very long match and you've got to win each individual session. There's 4 sessions, but Ding has got to really think about upping his game and making it tighter or scoring heavier when he gets his chances. But I'd be worried if I was Ding.
Yeah, because you mentioned sometimes we see with Ding Junhui 1 or 2 telltale signs with his body language. Did you notice him tightening up a little bit towards the end there?
Yeah, there was a little bit of shake of the head and little murmurings when he was in his seat, that he wasn't happy. But as Steve says, he's sort of getting overrun by this potting machine who's just getting down and just potting everything, not even, doesn't even look under pressure.
Yeah, but this man is putting him under pressure every time he's at the table. That's the point.
Yes, and it puts pressure not just on potting the ball, but it also puts pressure on your positional play to be accurate all the time. You can't afford to, once you get in amongst them, you've got to make that one particular moment count. And I think towards the end of that, there were some cracks in the positional play of Ding Junhui, which is one of his strengths. So it was actually just at the time when Stephen had said, I think the difference may be Ding's positional play. As we laughed. We laughed.
Yes.
Careers of pundits over before it started.
All right, well, it's been certainly enjoyable, hasn't it? And not a bad one for you to start in the commentary position here anyway with us at the World Championship. All right.